This is the Momma Fit Podcast. This podcast is dedicated to all those mamas out there that want to fit a workout in a day, or want to fit in a moment of bliss, or hey, you want to fit into those skinny jeans. Dana Dieters is the host of Momma Fit Podcast. She's a mother of two beautiful girls, a wife, and entrepreneur. Her passion became her profession when she had a wake-up call about 15 years ago. With the support of others and a positive attitude, she was able to overcome the hurdles in her life. This mama strives to wake up and conquer each day to make it better than the day before. Her passion for business and education to others is what drives this mama to be the best version of Momma Fit. With Dana's background, she hopes to help you with your business, health and fitness needs, family time in the kitchen, and give you motivation and inspiration to tackle your day. And most importantly, to help you fit in your Momma Fit time.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Momma Fit Podcast. Today, we are talking about workout nutrition and when to eat before, during, and after exercise. What to eat, when to eat, and that's it. As I start the Slim Down 8-week challenge on my online program, we really need to work on nutrition. I think this is the most valuable information, is the nutritional side of getting to your goals. You can work out like a mad woman. You can do all these crazy things, but if your nutrition is not on and you're eating either more carbohydrates, you could be eating awesomely clean with amazing food, but you might be eating too much of something, too much carbohydrates, too much sugar, and sugar comes in so many forms. So I am getting down and explaining what to eat before, during, and after exercise. So let's get started. We all know that what we eat is super important. But what about when we do eat? And if you're very active? Depending on whether you're an endurance athlete, training as a bodybuilder, or just basically trying to cut the fat, there's different ways to basically eat throughout the day. So if you are an endurance athlete, you train at a high level, you log out a ton of high intensity miles each week. And for you, your carbohydrate and calorie needs need to be a little higher. You could add a protein plus carbohydrate drink during your training. As a bodybuilder, you lift weights with serious muscle growth in mind. You want to gain weight, so your protein and calorie needs likely to be higher as well. So for the bodybuilders, your protein and calories need to be higher. For the endurance, your carbohydrate and calorie are going to be higher. And now if you're going for your fat loss, depending on your physical activity, trying to drop that lower body fat percentage, for you, your carb intake should be lower. Your benefit from the performance enhancing branched chain amino acids are really good. So the BCAA during your training is a must. You can either get that in a drink, or some protein powders have it as well. I've noticed since training for the last decade, tons of people are more stressed out about when they eat their carbs, when they eat their fats, and what to eat in and around their workouts. So this can be super distracting and even self-sabotaging because you're so stressed about it. So when you're into that pre-exercise nutrition, what your needs are and what you need and when you need it before exercise can make a big difference on your workout, how good you feel, your recovery, your performance. So in the 3 hours before your workout, you want to eat something that helps you sustain your energy, boost your performance, hydrate yourself, preserve muscle mass, and speed up your recovery. So here are a few ways to ensure you're meeting your requirements. Protein before exercise. Eating some sort of protein in the first few hours before exercise can help you maintain or even increase your muscle size. That's very important for anyone who wants to improve health, body composition, or even just your performance. It also can reduce markers of muscle damage. The less damage to your muscles, the faster you recover and the better you adapt to your exercise over your long term. Another awesome reason for protein before exercise that it floods your bloodstream with amino acids just when your body needs it the most. This boosts your muscle building capability. So not only are you preventing the damage, you're increasing muscle size. Before you rush off to mix a protein shake right now, while protein before a workout is a great idea, speed of digestion doesn't seem to matter much. So any protein source eaten within a few hours of that workout session will do the trick. So you can do chicken, eggs, or whatever you have that you like for protein. It doesn't have to be necessarily a protein shake. I do like having carbs before exercise. So eating carbs before exercise will fuel your training, help you with recovery. It's really a very popular misconception that you can only need carbs if you're engaging in long, meaning more than 2 hours, bout of endurance exercise. But in reality, carbs can also enhance short-term, meaning 1 hour, high-intensity training. So unless you're going for a quiet stroll, ensuring that you have some carbs in your system will provide high-intensity performance. And when I say carbs, it could be an apple, or it could be half a banana even, or maybe half a cup of oatmeal or something like that. It doesn't have to be like really heavy carbs. I'm looking for something a little smaller that you can combine with your protein. Having the carb in your system also preserves muscle and liver glycogen. This tells your brain when you're well fed and helps increase muscle retention and growth. Eating carbs also stimulates and releases of insulin. When combination with protein, this improves protein synthesis and prevents the protein breakdown. So another reason why a mix of meal, which is your protein and carbohydrates, is a great idea. So no sugary carb drinks are required. So nothing with tons of sugar, like a energy drink that has full sugar or pop or juice or something like that. That is not required. It's more of maybe getting a good whole grain, 2 slices of bread, and having a chicken sandwich or something like that, protein and carbohydrate. It doesn't have to be big, and it shouldn't be big, especially if you're going to work out. Something that will digest well. So some things that I don't really love using before my workouts is fat. Fats before exercise it depends on how well your body digests it. It's very slow in your system, and it digests very, very slow. So they don't appear to improve sport performance. I'm just going to say that right now. And they don't seem to fuel performance. That's what the carbs are for, basically. So they do help with slowing the digestion, like I said, which maintains blood glucose and your insulin levels and keeps you at an even keel. So if you feel like, you know what, I'm going to go for a really long run and I need something that will keep me fueled the whole way through, that might be your idea for having a great snack beforehand with maybe apple with peanut butter or something like that. So depending on basically what you are wanting to do as far as your workouts, you might need to decide if fats would be the best way to go. I think if you are going to be running for a very long time, maybe like a 2-hour long run, then maybe go with the fat, and that might help you with your long workout. But if you're going to have a very quick workout, I don't know if fats would be the best choice. It does kind of sit there for a little bit more time because it's digesting. So it's your call and what you feel that works best. So that would be your own decision. With these things in mind, here are some practical recommendations for pre-exercise period. Depending on what suits your individual needs, you can simply have normal meal in a few hours before your exercise, or you can have smaller meal just before you exercise. If you are trying to put on mass, you may want to do both. So option 1 would be eating 2 to 3 hours before exercise. Having a 2 to 3 hour before exercise meal, you may have a mixed meal of protein, carbohydrate with maybe some vegetables or fruit, and then maybe some protein along with it, with a low calorie beverage like water. You could do oatmeal with maybe 2 eggs or something like that, or maybe a protein powder if you're into protein powder with maybe some fruit in there like berries. That could be your mix of protein, carbohydrate. So, and that could go for a man and a woman. Your sizes of food would obviously be different than if you're a man or a woman, because you guys would have different serving sizes. And obviously your actual needs will vary, depend on your size, your goals, your genetics, and the duration and intensity of your exercise for that day. For example, if you're an endurance athlete, prepping for a 20-mile run will be more carbs than someone getting ready for a 45-minute gym session. Your next option would be eating about 1 hour or less before training. So rather eating a large meal 2 to 3 hours before your exercise, some people like to eat a smaller meal closer to that session. The only issue with that is the closer you get to your workout, the less time there is to digest. That is why I generally recommend something liquid at this time, like a shake or a smoothie. So your meal might look like 1 scoop of protein powder, 1 fist of veggies. Spinach works great in smoothies. And then maybe 1 cup of berries. And then maybe if you're feeling like you're going to go for a long run, longer than maybe an hour, maybe between that 1 and 1.5 hour, you would add in your mixed nuts or something in the shake and just blend it all. So, and then you can always use unsweetened almond milk or water for your protein powder. If you ever need recipes, check out my recipes on the website at danadietersfitness.com. There's tons and tons of recipes and a lot of protein shakes and smoothies that you can use for before your workouts if you're looking for something different. So it probably goes without saying, but with pre-training nutrition, choose the foods that don't bother your stomach, because you know what happens if you don't, especially if you are a runner. I know that happens a lot with runners, especially if you're doing long runs. So always maybe keep the same meals if you are, training for something, because that's really, really important. So you don't have that upset stomach and having to run to the bathroom, if you know what I mean. So during your exercise, what you eat or drink during exercise is very important under specific circumstances again. So, but if you're going to eat or drink during exercise, your goals will be similar to those with the pre-workout nutrition. So above all, you want to maintain hydration. So that's huge. So the goals for nutrition during exercise is staying hydrated to provide immediate fuel. It'll boost performance and preserve your muscle and improve your recovery just like food does. All right. So this is usually something that is based on when you ate last and how long you're working out for. So protein during exercise, eating protein can basically help prevent muscle breakdown. This can lead to improved recovery, so you'll feel better the next day and have greater adaptation to training over long term. And this is especially true if it's been more than 3 hours since your last meal. You only need a small amount of protein to control protein breakdown, so around 15 grams per hour. If you are a type of person that prefers exercise on an empty stomach, then maybe going with that 10 to 15 grams of BCAAs during training can be helpful. Again, that could be the BCAA drink. You can also get that in protein powder as well. It is only really necessary for some people though. So athletes during very long, intense training bouts, or maybe multiple daily running sessions, or people trying to gain a significant amount of mass. So this isn't going to be for everybody. So if you're just going to go and do like an hour, like gym workout, and you're just the normal kind of person that's getting a great workout on because you're trying to stay healthy and wanting to be fit and strong, that might not be for you. But if you are training for something and you're really putting a lot into your body and you need to have that recovery, then this would be perfect. And now we'll go on to carbs. Eating carbs during exercise. Do you need it? I don't know. Depends on what you're doing. So providing the carbs into your during your workout, it will provide an immediate fuel source. So this is very helpful to boost performance, facilitate faster recovery, just like the protein, and it keeps our stress hormone cortisol down and beneficial hormones come up. But It's only beneficial in certain circumstances. Again, like endurance athlete on a long run, for people who want to gain a lot of muscle, and highly active people who need that every calorie to increase their size, strength, and performance. So my ultimate idea for this is people that are going to be more of the athlete type of people that are endurance athletes. I would also encourage putting a protein mix in. So you have the same endurance benefits with protein and carbohydrates, about 30 to 45 grams of carbs per hour. The protein also protects against the muscle breakdown, so it's typically a good idea to add that in. So having that mix, so the protein and carbohydrates, kind of what we talked in the beginning of the episode today. Fats should be avoided during exercise because it's more difficult to digest, like I said before. And during training, you don't want to give your stomach more work than it can handle. So I would basically eliminate the fat idea. It's a great idea maybe afterwards, but before is not a good idea, and also during. Some people question, do I need to eat during the workout? This all depends on how long it's been since your last meal and the length and type of exercise that you're planning on. So it's all depending on those two things. For training that's less than 2 hours long, the main focus should be hydration. This is especially true if you're using a good pre and post-training nutrition. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Some people ask about sports drinks. What about sports drinks? They don't offer much benefit for the event less than 2 hours long, especially if you ate a good pre-exercise meal. So you might not need a sports drink. Again, there are some exceptions. If you're exercising in the heat and sweating a lot, or if you just are a big sweater, sports drinks may be useful since they have electrolytes that help speed hydration and recovery. And if you're going to be competing or training again in less than 8 hours, a sports drink may jumpstart recovery before your next session. So this goes for also training to gain max muscle. And finally, at the highest end of sport or competition, while it may not help, it certainly won't hurt to sip on a sports drink during competition to ensure maximal hydration and energy supply. So for those that are exercising lasting more than 2 hours, for training, a long run or triathlons, sports drinks can be a huge help. Every hour you will want to consume 15 grams of protein and 30 to 45 grams of carbohydrates. This can come in many forms, including liquids, gels, or even solid food. Many endurance athletes prefer to drink water and eat fruit or other foods to supply their energy even on a really long run. Either approach is fine as long as you're getting enough protein, carbohydrates, and electrolytes, especially the sodium. If you're exercising intensely for longer than 2 hours, especially in the heat, do not rely on water alone. This will decrease your performance and your recovery. Under all these conditions, when you're sweating a lot, go with a sport drink. So now let's get into the post-exercise nutritional needs. Now let's take a look at post-nutrition. This will help you with recovery, rehydration, refueling, building muscle, and improve future performances. So protein after exercise prevents protein breakdown and stimulates the synthesis, leading to increase and maintain your muscle tissue. So this is a great strategy for better recovery, adaptation, and performance. It really doesn't matter which kind of protein you go with. It is what you choose for your post-workout meal. So if you want something fast and convenient, make an awesome post-workout protein shake. Want real food? Then make an awesome high-protein meal. Any high-quality, complete protein should do the job as long as you eat enough. That means about, I would say, roughly 20 to 30 grams for women and maybe 40 to 60 grams for men. So 2 palm sizes for a man, 1 palm size for a woman. So let's talk about carbs because everyone loves carbs. And what is the best idea for post-workout meal? So it's contrary to popular belief. It's unnecessary to stuff yourself with refined carbs. So like pastas and rice, some fruits. Basically, carbohydrates are good. They restore the muscle and liver glycogen as rapidly as possible after your workout, but making sure you're getting unprocessed whole foods like berries and vegetables and good quality whole food is a better choice. It's better tolerated in your body. It restores the glycogen equally over a 24-hour period of time with the proper carbohydrates. It also can lead to a better next day performance. Endurance athletes who perform 2 sessions with 8 hours between one another might be an exception to this guideline, as speed and glycogen replenishment is critical in this situation. But for most healthy exercisers, whole food with some fruit is a better way to go. All right, now let's talk about fats after exercise. So some misconceptions has said that we should avoid fats after exercise because they slow down digestion and absorption of nutrients. It is true in most cases, but it's also irrelevant. We've already seen that speed of digestion of protein and carbs is not necessarily as important as we once thought. The same goes with fats. So just to clarify, fat does not reduce the benefits of protein and carbohydrate consumption around training. It can actually provide some benefits on its own. So fats can be added. It depends on how you feel and how long from your workout, from the time you stopped your workout to when you eat it. And that's what we're going to go with next. So the next topic is when to actually eat. So while you don't have to rush to the door and eat something right away when you finish your gym workout or training, running, whatever it is, you just shouldn't poke around forever before eating. So there is like a time frame that you want to get into, and failing to eat within that 2-hour window following training can slow your recovery. So depending on what you're doing, when you do it, it's best to eat within that 2-hour window. But again, the context depends on what you ate before your workout. So that can influence things. If your pre-training meal was a small one, or if you ate several hours before training, then it's probably more important if you get your post-workout meal into your system pretty quick, probably within that hour. If you trained in a fasted state, say the first thing in the morning before breakfast, then it's a good idea to chow down as soon as you can do it. So right after your workout would be best. If you ate a normal sized mixed meal in a couple hours before your training, or a small shake closer to training, then you have a full 1 to 2 hours after training to get your post-workout meal in and still maximize the benefits of your nutrition. So again, this all depends on when you ate last, what your workout looked like, and how many hours you had between your last meal. So again, make sure you're getting in between those hours depending on when you started your workout and when you ate last. So the approach to recovery from training is the same as your prep for a workout. Have a mixed meal of real food. Again, you want to make sure you're building it with your protein, your fast carbohydrates, and your slow carbohydrates, some fats, and obviously your water. And depending on if you're a man or a woman, your goals and everything like that, your serving sizes will be a little bit different. So sometimes after training, you might not feel as hungry as well, and that's okay. If you don't feel like eating, you can go with a liquid nutrition, obviously like a protein shake with some fruits and vegetables in it. So just to end this, there is no perfect pre and post training feeding regimen for everyone. Everyone's going to be different. Everyone has their own different goals. They all have different way of training. What to eat is always context specific, like I said before. So the protein, carbohydrate, fat, and fluid requirements for, let's just say, 150 to 50 pound person, endurance athlete in the midst of training versus a 220 pound bodybuilder recovering from a heavy resistant training sessions are going to be quite different. So that is going to be, you got to put that in. You can't compare someone else to other people depending on what they're doing and what you're doing and figuring out what the goals are. It's always totally different for each individual. And times of your training year will also dictate different needs. In that post-exercise recovery period, the same bodybuilder will need a different approach when he starts or she starts to prep for a fitness competition. So for most of us, people without athletic competitions on the horizon, like most of us are, the best pre and post training meals will contain some combination of high quality protein, high quality carbohydrates, and maybe healthy fats, depending on where you fit into your workout regimen. And the best way to do it is always to stick to those whole foods that provide awesomeness, blend of nutrients, protein, carbohydrates, fat, fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that build the muscle, give you energy, and decrease inflammation and boost recovery. Of course, you can eat solid foods or drink smoothies, whichever is your choice. And the amount of each micronutrient can depend on your needs as well as personal performance and tolerances. In terms of timing, you'll have about 1 to 2 hours on both sides of your training to get maximal benefit. So enjoy your workout and your meals. So eat, move, and live better. Thanks again for listening to the Momma Fit podcast and taking some time for you. And if you need more help on your nutrition, I am taking on a couple nutritional clients. So if you have issues with your nutrition, you need some help, you just need some guidance on where to go, I am there for you. So just contact me on my website at danadiedersfitness.com and have yourself a wonderful day.
Thanks so much for spending your time with the Momma Fit podcast. Dana is so happy to share her tips and tricks with you. If you loved this podcast, we'd be so happy if you could share this episode with your friends and family. Also, if you have time, please leave us a review of your honest thoughts and reflections of the podcast on iTunes or our app. We'd be so grateful. If you have any topic or suggestion that you want answered, leave those in the comments below and make sure that you fit in your Momma Fit time.